For the past couple of years, I've never been excited about new flagships because almost every single one of them, one way or the other, has been incremental. Oh, this is the new flagship. Cool, what else is new? Until the Fold series was introduced. When Samsung came with the very first Fold, the problematic production batch, it was a colossal failure, but most of us failed to see the potential. I thought the phone had massive potential, but I'm gonna hold off for a few years till this can actually become a practical device rather than a novelty one. Fold 2 came out, and in Samsung's flagship history, they've never innovated like they did with that flagship. They changed everything. And I mean everything that was in the first Fold. Those hideous cameras, front cover, screen more durable, better hinge, cheaper, better battery life. Unfortunately, all the subsequent devices after that have felt more evolutionary rather than true innovation. Nevertheless, Fold 4 is the device that perfects the foldable formula, or at least gets very close to it. Let's start with the unboxing. In pursuit of being environmentally friendly or profitable, the unboxing experiences have become pretty standard across different devices. The box is pretty uneventful, unlike the first iterations. Inside the box, we have the device itself, the warranty safety guide along with a USB-C cable, and that's it. The box is thinner, and that's all for the unboxing. This is the Fold 4 review, but instead of just doing a simple review, I thought I would put Samsung's top flagship head to head to see where each one excels and which one is more sensible to daily drive. From the previous flagship, which was Fold 3, the most notable changes are a bit thinner than the Fold 3, 8 grams lighter, Gorilla Glass Victus Plus versus the Victus, up to 3 SIMs versus 2, 2% more screen to body ratio, 8 Plus Gen 1 versus 888, 4nm versus 5nm, and up to 1TB storage. In terms of design, the moment you pick up the phone, you know you're holding something premium. The back is matte frosted, protected by Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, and the hinge's exterior is polished aluminum. The same stand corrects for the S22 Ultra. Unlike the S22 Ultra, however, the fingerprint sensor and the volume rocker are just sitting flushed. I wish the volume adjuster was a little bit more pronounced, making it easier to adjust the volume. The armor aluminum does feel a bit more premium than the S22. The outside screen also has the Victus Plus. One major design pro that Fold 4 has is the camera housing. Daily driving S22 dust always accumulated around those rings, and it was pretty annoying. One thing that stays true for Samsung is the display. Unfolding that screen and comparing to the S22, the Fold 4 beats it. Granted, it's very subtle and you have to put them side by side to notice any difference, but Fold 4 has slight advantage, and the screen is plastic, yet somehow it just takes a very slight lead. The outer screen is the 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED, but the inner screen is a massive 7.6-inch display. The crease this time around is very subtle. I mean, if you specifically look for it, you can of course find it, but looking on it direct on, or even from various angles, it's not even noticeable. After a bit of usage, you get used to it in no time. This is where Fold 4 is somewhat questionable. Don't get me wrong, Samsung did an amazing job with their ergonomics, but the cover screen is abnormally tall. If they just kept the screen at 6.1 inches but did something creative with the dimensions of it, that would have been much better. Yes, it's a big screen, but I still find it very cramped for majority of the use cases. If it was just a little bit wider, that would have solved the problem, and we might have gotten a bit more screen real estate. When unfolding. Speaking of unfolding, it is without a doubt a two-handed phone. I used it one-handed and my hand was strained in no time, but with two hands, phone usage is a breeze. The split keyboard also makes a huge difference. Samsung made a bunch of Fold 4 covers, and getting an official back cover is the only way to store your S Pen. This cover is fine, but the color selection is pretty limited. I would have loved a cream colored S Pen and cover. The S Pen usage is pretty good, dare I say, comparing to the S22 Ultra. Fold actually felt more like on paper than the S22 Ultra. I mean, the tip and the plastic screen helps here with the feel. In terms of latency, however, I couldn't discern any noticeable difference. Both of these pens are amazing, but you can't use Fold Pen on the cover screen. Another low point for the Fold 4 is the battery life. As the Fold 3, Samsung kept it at 4400 mAh, which is okay for the most part, and considering this phone comes with 8 Plus Gen 1, it is really efficient. AI is also learning my usage pattern, which is helping out the usage. But that efficiency gap in the chip still doesn't outlast my S22 Ultra. 5000 mAh is still bigger and outshine the chip efficiency. Now, I've seen a couple of online battery tests where Fold 4 outlasts the S22 Ultra. For my Fold 4, it loses battery in standby mode. Leaving it on standby for 6 hours, S22 Ultra lost 4%, while Fold 4 lost 7% on average. So in the middle of writing the script, Samsung actually issued a software update, which fixed the issue. so it can now go head to head with the S22 Ultra. Putting the phone on power saving mode using the cover screen and using the inner screen on occasions did last me throughout the day, but I had to be careful. Well, hey, in Fold 5 maybe Samsung will finally upgrade the battery capacity and the newer chip will also do the trick. Fold 4 has drastically improved upon the cameras, but are they best in class? Nope. Putting it side by side, S22 Ultra blows it out of the water. And it's not just the quality of the camera, it's also the zoom, the stabilization, night mode, and overall processing. This set of camera is still at flagship level, but they are below S22s. Now, I have a theory as to why Samsung didn't include the same or better cameras here. I think it's because of the price point. If they had included those sensors, the price might have gone up, but it's a premium device for people who are gonna spend almost $2,000 on this thing and don't care about a couple of extra hundreds. People are still calling it expensive AF, and it still would have been true with those sensors, but at least then Fold 4 cameras were gonna be best in class. The inner screen camera is not great, but usable, you can still see it. The biggest problem it has that it's very soft. All in all, very good cameras, but still not top tier flagship level. Using this device and putting stress loads on it, it didn't even skip a beat. And that is to be expected from this device. You can multitask and do all kinds of background tasks and it won't lag at all. 12GB of RAM is also plenty. However, I wish it had UFS 4.0. Samsung just announced it in May and it might debut in the S23 Ultra. But still, this is a 1TB variant and UFS 4.0 would have been sweet. No complaints regarding the performance. Putting this and Ultra head to head, it beats it by almost 100,000 points. Kind of off topic, but I remember the time when flagships had 25,000 points in total on Antutu. Before we get to the most important part of the review, we have two sets of speakers which both sounds amazing but are easy to muffle depending on the phone's orientation. We can add 2 nano SIMs and 1 eSIM, so 3 SIMs in total. Keeping the phone closed does mean you have to wipe it clean more often than not. It is IPX8 water resistant, which is very impressive, but no dust resistant rating, so keep that in mind. The side mounted fingerprint sensor is also extremely fast. Because of the aspect ratio, you have to crop in a lot of the video. Several apps are not even compatible with the unfolded screen. As I was using this phone, I realized something. It's an amazing device, but it's still not being fully utilized by Samsung and Android. Let me explain. I open up the device and the screen just expands, but the operating system is still the same. It feels like everything is stretched out and you're still using Android. Imagine if we had a different operating system on here like Windows Lite or maybe a modified version of Android like Android 12 Fold. In that version, whenever we opened up our phone, every app would open up in desktop mode. And it was similar to Windows or Mac or Ubuntu when unfolded. So with that, we could have taken the added screen real estate effectiveness to a whole new level. The productive enthusiast in me wants to do more with that unfolded screen. In fact, that alone might be the entire reason to forego the ergonomics entirely. Apple did the same thing a couple of years back. Their iPad was running iOS, but they made a different OS called iPadOS, which took the iPad's productivity to a whole new level. So you weren't running iOS on steroids, you were running a productive OS. And it's not like the guts inside it can't handle it. It's 12GB RAM and octa-core 4nm. It goes head to head with one of my laptops. Finally, the question is, should you buy it? It all depends on your use case. If you're always on the go and need to use your phone a lot, or you use your phone in rough environments, or you whip out your phone to do something quickly, go with the S22 Ultra. But if you want the bleeding edge, latest and greatest, and something actually exciting, go with the Fold. It has its flaws, but it's the only product in this category with 4 iterations of improvement. This doesn't feel like a prototype, but rather an excellent device that you can truly daily drive with a vast variety of use cases. With that being said, this is Rogat. I hope you guys enjoyed this perspective. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys later.